Hello, fifth graders. Welcome to lesson 8.5 of Unit 8. The teaching point says I can convert customary capacity or volume measurements. Sometimes it's referred to as capacity, as you will hear in our groovy number rock video today. Other times we refer to it as volume. It is a liquid measurement. And the first thing you will do in today's lesson is to watch the groovy video to remind yourself what those units are. Then you will take a look at these two graphic slides. This is the first one. Some of you may really like how this is set up. You can see the big G here for gallon. See how it's color-coded to the gallon down here. It's what we buy our milk in. In a gallon, there are 4 quarts, and that's color-coded to this quart here. Each quart has 2 pints in it, which is color-coded here, about the size of our milk if you get milk at school. And each pint has 2 cups in it, which is color-coded to the cup. Some of you have those kinds of minds that you would look at this and it would make total sense and it would trigger all your memories and you'd be able to dive into that assignment. Others of you might have a brain a little bit more like mine, and I need a strategy to help me out. And that's where the next slide may be the slide that you prefer. Here's the next slide. It says at the bottom, converting customary volume. But in this one, we again do hopping, very similar to what we did when we had our metric system based on the powers of 10, when we hopped back and forth left and right on our chart, and then we moved our decimal the same place, the same number of places in the same direction. Well, these do not involve a shift in the decimal place. However, if you can use this slide to hop between the different volume measurements, it may be a little bit easier for you to do the conversions. Here's what I mean by that. We have the abbreviations here for cup, pint, quart, half gallon, and gallon. And between each one, you can see this arrow with a 2 on it. There are 2 cups in a pint. 2 pints in a quart, 2 quarts in a half gallon, 2 half gallons in a gallon. So let's say that I wanted to find out how many cups were in a quart. That would be 2 hops. But I don't add 2 plus 2. I'm actually multiplying because there's 2 cups in this pint. And if it takes 2 pints with 2 cups each to go in a quart, that's 4. So we would say 4 cups in a quart. To find out how many cups are in a gallon, it's multiplying 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So it would sound something like this. 2, 4, 8, 16. As we hop from cups to gallons, it's 2, 4, 8, 16 cups in a gallon. Okay, that's some of what these arrows are reminding you of, is that we're not adding 2 plus 2 plus 2 as we go. We are multiplying. So if you have to make 2 hops, it's actually 4. It's the 2 times the 2. Even if I made a hop from a pint to a half gallon, it's still 2, 4. I just didn't give you another arrow, or we would have so many arrows overlapping. To go from quart, 2 hops to the gallon, it's 2, 4. as you can see by this yellow arrow here. So how is that going to help us when we do our assignment? I'll show you. Look here now, I have gone down to the assignment slide. These are just example problems. You will have different problems to do on your own. And notice how I have my screen. I have my assignment pulled up here. I'm not in the present mode. And I have made sure to adjust these side slides so that I can see many versions of both of these graphics. Now, some of you may just want to use this graphic here and only have this one visible because the other one might not make sense to you. That's fine. Or you may want to see this. I will keep both up, but because my brain likes to do this hopping, this is the one I'm going to use, but you're welcome to use either or neither. Let's take a look at how this works. I need to figure out 4 pints is how many quarts. I have 4 pints. How many quarts is that? Well, I can look at my hopping chart and I can see that there are 2 pints in every quart. I can see the same thing here, 2 pints in a quart. So if I have 4 pints, 1, 2, 3, 4, look, 2 of them can make a quart and these 2 can make a quart. So I would have 2 quarts. Let's say I have 4 quarts. How many half gallons is that? Well, let's see. I have 4 quarts. Now, the problem here is there's not a half gallon on this kind of a chart. So I'm going to use this chart here. I have 4 quarts. How many half gallons could I make? Well, 2 of them would make 1 half gallon, and another 2 of them makes another half gallon. So I would have 2 half gallons. I put the dash in there so that it's 2 half gallons, which I realize is just 1 gallon. If I didn't have the dash in there, it would say 2.5 gallons. I put the dash in and it means 2 half gallons. Let's go on to this next example. 4 cups is how many pints? Well, 2 cups would make 1 pint. Another 2 cups would make a second pint. So we have 2 pints. I promise you the answer will not always be 2. Let's go on to 6 quarts is how many pints? I have 6 of these. How many pints would that be? Well, there's 2 pints in every quart. So each one of these 6 quarts has 2 pints in it. 6 quarts, they each have 2 pints in them. Do you see how I would do that in my head? I would multiply those quarts by the pints inside of them, and what would I get? 12. You got it. Let's go on to this row. 1 quart is how many pints? How many pints in a quart? That would be 2. Did you get it? 4 gallons is how many quarts? How many quarts is in 1 gallon? 2. 4 quarts are in 1 gallon. I have 4 gallons. 4 gallons. And each gallon has 4 quarts in it. How much would that be? Remember? 16. 40 cups is how many quarts? 40 cups. 4 cups make a quart. So with my 40 cups, every time I take out 4, I can make a quart. So I'm going to do 40 divided by 4. What's 40 divided by 4? 10 quarts I could make? What about if I had 28 pints? How many quarts would that be? Every time I take out 2 pints, I can make a quart. So I'm going to divide my 28. What am I dividing by? How many pints in a quart? I'm dividing by 2. So I basically cut that in half, and I would get 14 quarts. Next row, I have 48 cups. How many quarts could I make? That's 2 jumps between those. 2, 4. There are 4 cups in every quart. So I'm going to take my 48 cups. I'm going to divide it by 4. And I'm going to see how many quarts I can make when I divide by 4 cups in every quart. And you would get 12. If I had 9 gallons, how many quarts is that? Let's see, 9 gallons. How many quarts are in just 1 gallon? 2, 4 quarts are in a gallon. 4 quarts are in a gallon. So for all of these 9 gallons, every gallon has 4 quarts in it. So I'm doing 9 times 4. What is that? 36 quarts. 12 pints is how many cups? 12 pints. So every pint I have 2 cups. Every pint, all 12 pints, I have 2 cups in each one of those. And 12 times 2 is 24. 9 gallons is how many pints? 9 gallons, pints, okay. How many pints are going to be in 1 gallon? 2, 4. 8 pints are in 1 gallon. 8 pints are in 1 gallon. So how many are in 9? I'm going to multiply each of those gallons by 8 because each of those gallons has 8 pints in them, and I would get 72 pints. Now we have some addition problems. Don't be intimidated. Let's think about 3 quarts and 1 gallon is how many cups? So I'm going to ask myself, how many cups are in 3 quarts? 4 quarts, 4 cups in each quart. So this is 3 times 4, right? And then over here, how many cups is in a gallon? 2, 4, 8, 16. Or I could just do this one big jump. 16. 1 times 16. Or you know what? Some of you may have thought, why can't I just write 16? You can. So 3 times 4, that's my 12 cups. And 12 plus 16, 28 cups. One more problem together. 2 gallons and 1 quart are how many pints? So I have to find out how many pints in 1 gallon. 2, 4, 8. If there's 8 pints in 1 gallon, there's going to be 16 pints in 2 gallons. And how many pints are in a quart? There are 2 pints in every quart. So 16 plus 2 is 18 pints. I hope that helps you see how you could use these graphics. Have fun doing your assignment. Push turn in when you're finished and reach out to your teacher if you have any questions.